those who preceded me up here today.
Amen.
Brother Charles with the class.
Yes.
Brother Haley with the singing, and our young brother Gus who's stepping up.
Amen.
You know, and going right before our eyes.
Yes, he is.
So, like Brother Charles alluded to in class, you know, one day you're going to have to take a seat. Sometimes you might be forced to take a seat.
Yes, Lord.
Because the body will break down on you. And sometimes you just need a spiritual break. You need a moment to just reflect on oneself and just kind of look at life for what it is. You know, this morning I got a call from my mom saying, Thomas, you need to be ready to preach.
Right.
She explained to me what happened with Brother Fred.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's, you know, like Brother Charles said, we knew it was coming,
Yes, sir.
but you're just never ready for that day.
That's right.
And 96 years old, she lived 26 years over the promise.
Yes.
And was there for her family, and her son was there for her by her side the whole time, Brother Fred.
Yes, Lord.
And you just have to stop and think to yourself, what made him so loyal to her, to be there by her side doing all that time?
Yes,
And she's
Lord.
getting ready to be deserved. Because just because you're a mom and a dad, you're not entitled to your child's loyalty and love like that when it's all said and done. It has to be earned.
Amen.
Apparently she earned it.
Yes.
And he was by his mother's side to the very end.
Right.
And sometimes we have to realize that as authority figures from our household to sometimes when you're appointed and elected as a government official, you have certain responsibilities and you have certain powers that are bestowed upon you.
Yes.
But it doesn't give you a right to run them up, go crazy. You have to be responsible with that power and that authority to earn people's trust,
Amen.
loyalty, and behavior towards you, to respect that position that you have. Now on the board I have the Headless Body.
All right.
I would challenge anybody to try to get around, do their everyday functions without a head.
Hello.
See how far you're going to get.
Good.
See, can you see? Can you think? Can you speak? Can you hear? And I stopped right there. Can you hear? Because last night, you know, my family and I, it's been a while since I joined my family for a Walmart trip. I kind of missed those. You know, we take our mom to Walmart, but she drives, but we accompany her. But once we get there, we take her to Walmart because she gets in on the little motorized scooters and drives around. While we have to do all the lifting, the picking up, the reaching down, the bending over, all that stuff for her, and she just points like a little general. Okay, get that, get that. So it's at the point where you don't even have to speak. So it's Juwan, myself, Kadares, we take turns in this rotation. Every once in a while, Collins would join in. Collins is smart, he runs away from that responsibility. Well, he's working most weekends. But as we were there, helping our mom, I saw 3 people having a conversation. Not one word was spoken. They were doing sign language.
Wonderful.
You don't see that every day.
Amen.
They were signing each other the conversation. And it was a very peaceful conversation from what I can tell. 2 ladies and a guy, just you know, their signs and stuff. I think a gangbanger wasn't there. He might have been confusing. Thought they would make fun of his set. So I wish our young men would look at that and see that they took away something that means something to some people by throwing signs. It's very important. That's how they communicate with one another. So what if one hand was broken? Could they sign certain words that took 2 hands to communicate certain information? It just got me thinking. So like, we help my mom because of her leg and her foot is bothering her. So we have to be that body part to help pick up the slack. Every body part is important.
Amen.
Every part of the body is important. And it picks, sometimes when the other one's hurting, the other ones come and rally around that body part to be there for that body part.
Yes.
And we do that as the church. But we can't function properly if we don't have our head together, or we don't have the proper head. And that's what I would like to start in Ephesians chapter 5. Because you know the old saying, it starts at home. Y'all agree with that? It starts at home, right?
Yes, it does.
Everybody talks about you see a bad child in school or a person that ends up in jail. It starts at home.
Amen.
So let's talk about how the home should be. It's the proper order of the home. Ephesians 5, starting at verse 21. The one brothers have it for me.
Submitting yourselves one to another in the fear of God.
Okay, there you go, right there. That's where it starts with.
Yes, sir.
Both parties, when when man and woman come together, married, they become one. Are they both in love, admiration, fear, and respect of God? If one's not, you're not evenly yoked, it's about to be some despair in that household.
Amen.
One can't come in fearing the Lord, and then the other one coming in and perpetrating or acting like they are. Because trust me, and I tell this to anybody, once God is not the head or the first one in your life, he drops it dead last. He can't be second. He can't be third. He can't be fourth. Once you put a person or thing ahead of him, he's dropped down to the bottom, and he don't like that. There's going to be some rumbling and moving in your life once God is not number one in your life. I'm telling you from my own personal experience. I put school up there before. I put girls up there before. And I wonder why my life just got shaken down to the core. Because I didn't have the right head in my life. I didn't have the right number one. So I'm telling you right now, dropping down to number two. No, he's not number two. He's last. He's gonna get upset. That's when you're gonna start seeing some things. You wonder why me? Why me? And you can have the most noble intentions. You might be putting your child number one. You might be putting your job number one. These are good things that God bless you with. But who blessed you with it? Who gave it to you? So you have to keep that in mind. Because that can get you in trouble. Now some of us, obviously, we put some bad things number one in our lives. Substances that we use to escape our problems and our pains that we try to pour ourselves into to hide away from what's bothering us. People can see that from a mile away. But sometimes people wonder why bad things happen to good people. They don't have their priorities straight. Sometimes you're trying to be too good. That you need to know who's helping you, who's control of everything. So brother boy, pick back up at verse 22 for me.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as unto the Lord.
Okay, it's 2015, right?
Yes.
That submit word,
Hello.
that causes a lot of problems in relationships and marriages. Now, if you read your Bible, it will explain to you what submitting is. And, you know, the order of it is done on purpose. Because usually women, you know, kind of bring a relationship together. Us guys, we like every woman we see. But it's that one that really catches our eye. And we can like you all day. If you don't want us, we can't have it. So once you make the choice to kind of let our game work and our attention to you work, you got to start evaluating yourself as a woman. Why am I letting this guy into my life? Now, a lot of women have to ask themselves, are you willing to submit to this guy? A lot of women choose guys, they like him because he's tatted up, he drives a nice car sitting up on Dubs, or got the shine. They like the name brand on his lapel and everything like that. They like the game that he's spitting, how he talks to them. And some people like him because every other woman sees him on. And they want to be the one to catch him and get him. So, have you evaluated this man knows the Lord or has any kind of spiritual base? Even to the point of, not only how does he treat his mom, you know, how does he treat his family, period? Does he have a dad that taught him how to be a man, some tutelage? You know, what was his upbringing on? What his aspirations in life? What are his goals? What does he want to be? You know, you're going to overlook the brother driving that modest car sitting on 16 mag rims for the guy driving on 20-inch chrome. A lot of women make that choice. Then when they get a little bit long in the tooth, then they want to come talk to the guy that was doing it right, going straight laced. So that's why women go first in this pecking order, because y'all ultimately make the choice that we're going to be a couple or not. Because like I said, men, we chase everything we see. So when it comes to submitting, is he worthy to submit to? You know, that's why that's the first point when this whole passage here talking about marriage, you know, how it's compared to the church with Christ. Submit yourself. So make sure you find somebody worthy to submit to. Okay, verse 23, brother boy.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the Savior of the body.
So, you see the simile there, the metaphor there? You know, the man is head of the house like Christ is the head of the church. So, you need a man that that follows Christ. So he'll know how to lead his house. So he'd be worthy of being head of the house. Because who's going to be ahead of him? If he's following Christ, you should be in some good hands. Y'all all fall in the right direction.
That's good.
Continue for me.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
Okay, now men, we love hearing that. And we'll stop right there. And then we'll close the book. It's brother praise close the book. And then we'll walk off and like, whew, now I hope that girl been listening. I hope she learned something. Pick it, open it back up, open it back up. Now we got to start at verse 25, because now we're going to address the husbands. Men. So
Husbands.
Yes.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Yeah, hold your point right there. Now, I know I've never been married, so I can't speak on marriage, but I studied the word and know what Christ gave up for the church. He gave up everything for the church. He gave his life for the church. And I pray to God one day that I have that in my life for a woman, that I'm willing to give my life for her. I only have one life to give. So to want to do that, now will I actually do that? Who knows if it comes down to whatever. I only got one life to give, but I at least want to be able to say I want to have that kind of devotion to a woman on this earth, to love a woman like Christ loved the church. He gave up everything for the church because he knew the greater good it would do, saving souls, and have an opportunity for us to be where we are here today. So can a man do that? Because once a man does that for his wife, it makes that kind of sacrifice for her, loves her, that way, that kind of devotion, it's going to branch off into fruitful gains for everybody involved that comes near. The children born from it, the friends they have, their jobs. Because you send that woman to her job happy, man, everybody else going to benefit at her 9 to 5. And you're going to go to work happy because she fixed your lunch and got your little compartment set up. She know you got high blood pressure, so she didn't put that much sodium in your food. She know that your diabetes acts up a certain way, so she put the candy bar in there for you. She's going to have that kind of devotion for you and that love for you. And you put money in her hand to do it. So she's going to make sure she takes care of you so she can take care of things for herself. And she puts a nice little bracelet on her wrist that she knows you paid for and everything. It's all coming together, working together because it's out of love, it's out of respect because you want to take care of her. You make sure she drives the better car so she won't be stranded on the road. You want to make sure the lights are coming on in the house. You're taking care of home. You're not worried about yourself, your image, what you're wearing, what you're driving. You're worried about her, putting her first. So that's when that submit. She really don't mind submitting to you once you're putting her on a pedestal like that. Because you're like, what would Christ have me do? As you following him, this is what he did for the church. This is what I do for her. Just keep in mind, pecking order still stays in the right place. Christ got it first. Then everything else is just going to fall into place. And Brother Boy, can you continue for me?
That he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word.
Yes. Continue.
That he might present it to himself a glorious church, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, but that it should be holy and without blemish.
Now, if a man taking care of things, his wife will reflect it. His household will reflect that. And women, y'all had that responsibility of making sure that y'all, when y'all go out in the public, that y'all present, not only representing yourself, but representing your man or your husband. You know, my mom always taught me, where you met a woman, you should expect her to stay. So if I met you with everything hanging out and on display, I should expect it to stay that way. So how you carry yourself, how you've been raised and brought up, that's where this comes in, because if mom is presenting herself because dad is doing what he's supposed to be doing in a wrinkle-free way, in a blameless kind of way, a clean, pure way, the daughter gonna see that and she's gonna emulate that. She's gonna grow up to kind of act like mom, dress like mom. You know, she's gonna listen to mom. You can't wear makeup until, I think according to the Cosby Show, what, 15? She couldn't wear makeup, so you can't wear makeup until you're about 15. You're gonna follow those rules because you see mom being a classy, dignified lady. And look what kind of man she got in her life. So the mom doing that to have a man like my daddy, who's an upstanding guy, I want that too. Starts at home. Starts at home. Follow that pecking order. Hey, Brother Boy, can you continue for me?
28. So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies.
Yes.
He that loveth his wife loveth himself.
Now, hold the point right there now. Although I've never been married, as of a few years ago, I discovered how to love my body by what I put in it, proper nutrition.
Yes.
I'm going to go to the gym. After I leave here today, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to run my little 4 miles and get my lift on because I want to look good, feel good, get around, look a lot better. You know, when I go get my checkup once a year, now move up to maybe twice a year, I like getting a little healthy, report back saying, Thomas, you're doing good. I'm going to take care of Thomas, so I got to show that kind of devotion to whoever I want to be my helpmate.
Yes, sir.
Or who I want to, bestow my last name upon her. I should show her that kind of dedication, that appreciation. I'm not going to lay my hands on her. I'm not going to hit her. I'm not going to lie to her and make her suffer to the point where she wants to harm herself. I'm not going to break her spirit down. Because once you break the spirit down, people are depressed and they want to do harm to themselves and others. So to take care of the body is not only lifting weights and physical, it's mental, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. So if I want to make sure I'm happy, walking around with a clear mind, I need to bestow that same thing upon my wife, girlfriend, or whoever that I choose to be my significant other. Brother, can you continue from?
29. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church.
In verse 30.
For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone.
So that's why he's the head. This is all him. And we tell people, borrow time. We all borrow. You know, when a mother or father loses their child, we always tell them, I guess the way to compliment them, you would just borrow that child. And I guess vice versa when you lose your parent. You know, parents are supposed to leave you before, you know, you leave them, but it still hurts. And, you know, everything that we have in our lives, objects, people, are temporary for a season. Might be a short season, might be a long season. But we all don't just borrow time with everything. But the body of Christ is eternal. And we all want to get a turn on it to do our part. We're all blessed with different skills and talents and abilities. Are we doing our part? And then as parents, once you are blessed with that responsibility, how do you perform? Do you live up to that authority? Are you worthy of being respected? So we'll actually drop down to Ephesians 6, starting at verse 1.
Okay. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right.
Verse 2.
Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise.
Now, when the Ten Commandments were bestowed upon this world, the first ones took care of how we respect, obey, love God. And then we know, like in Mark, in the New Testament, it got condensed down to two things. You know, where you love God with everything that you have, inside and out, and love thy neighbors as you love thyself.
Amen.
But the top of that is the first commandment with promise. Obey and respect your mom and your dad. That's a layman's way of putting it. It ain't always easy.
Right.
Now, although I'm not a parent, I have been a child. And mom and dad are human. Mom and dad have been where you are going, have made their mistakes. So rearing a child, when you just, you know, point, yell, and tell them to do stuff, that should be good enough. At least that for most parents, as they tell you. But a lot of parents don't think they owe their child an explanation or some tutelage. Or this is an opportunity to teach. Teach your children. Sit down to them, explain to them why they don't need to be doing this. Not because I said so. Tell them why. And, you know, I'll let you in on a little secret. If you know firsthand why they should, break that down to them. Show some humility. Be humble. You know, and trust me, your child will respect you a lot more, a lot longer, if you just break it down to them like that. Teach them. They have brains, they have minds. They're begging for knowledge. You know, you tell them not to do something, you know, that's great. But sometimes an explanation is needed. And then when they go disobey it, then you have every right to lay their rod on them. Because you broke it down to them. Try to be nice. But sometimes, you know, children, they're going to go their own way. But if you break it down to them and get them an understanding why this is wrong, you'd be surprised how many times they'll turn away from that bad decision. And verse 3 from the board and 4.
That it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth.
Yes. And verse 4.
And ye fathers, provoke not your children to wrath, but bring them up in the nurture and admonition of the Lord.
Now, if you taught that respect and that fear, like I said, one of the greatest threats ever to a child is I'm going to tell your daddy. But that threat is dwindling a lot in the black community.
Hello.
Because there are no black fathers there. You know, we're talking about head of the house, a headless home, a headless body. Right there once again. So you got to figure out why a lot of our men are not there stepping up to the role of their responsibility of being fathers. Because a lot of them weren't ready when they were doing the action to become a dad. Then a lot of them, you know, they're scared and they're cowards and they're running off. And a lot of them weren't I say this all the time. This ain't about this Brother Seller speaking. It takes two to make a baby, one to have a baby.
Come on, Tom.
So ladies, if you know that you with a guy that, you know, he ain't there for you.
Hello.
Bitch ain't gonna be there for that child.
Right. Preach.
So slowly roll.
Preach.
But act responsible, because if it's just urging you that much, you're burning with that much passion and desire, be responsible with it.
Yes.
Don't try to trap a man with a baby, because that makes him run even faster. I've seen it way too many times since I was a teenager to 33 now.
Yes.
20 years of watching this, they run.
Yes.
They run. They might be there for a little while, gonna talk a nice little game, but then they're gonna hightail it out of there once that water start to get hot.
Preach, man.
They don't want their foot touching that hot water, but they know they're not ready to rear a child up in admiration and respect of the Lord, but they're not there. So make sure who's the head, who's first and foremost in your life. If you follow him, you make some more rash decisions and slow your roll a little bit. And then, but our black community, our homes are shaken up. So that verse 4 needs to be adjusted a little bit to mothers don't provoke the children, because they the heads of the household now. And some of them agitate their children, pick with them, compete with them, and things like that, because they had to take it on a fatherly role. And it's hard to take on that, to be a two-headed monster. That's why it's a freak of nature. You're not in your natural state. You're trying to be a man and a woman. You're sacrificing one for the other. You're sacrificing one for the other, and it's never going to hurt you as a parent. So you need to make sure when you sign up to have children, you're married first and foremost, because you got a tag partner who signed up for this with you. So I wish we get back to having families and households in the black community instead of just making babies. Now actually we turn over to Romans. Yes. That's read for us. Because like we said, it starts at home. The home's in order. Then you can go out in this world and be ready for some things that come your way. If anybody's popped on YouTube or television, I think you know the name Sandy Bland by now. And the list goes on from Eric Garner to, I don't want to put Trayvon Martin there because that wasn't a cop that he was messing with, so I want to keep it straight to police. But from Oakland, California, down to Texas, to I even dare say Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes, sir.
There are people who wear badges and uniforms. They have a tough job.
Yes, they do.
They could die any moment, any time. Not only with interaction of person, you know, their job is dangerous.
Yes.
When we're running away from the situation, they're running into it.
That's right.
So they deserve that respect.
Amen.
They deserve that admiration for what they're doing. Firemen, soldiers, all them. Part of their job description is death.
Yes.
You know, if I die at my job as a newspaper reporter, that's shocking and tragic. But when a cop or a fireman dies, it's to be expected, but it still hurts. And it happens to those men and women who take on that responsibility. But as they take on that responsibility to be that authority figure, how do they supposed to behave? I'll just go back to the old adage, two wrongs don't make a right. It's unfortunate what happened to the young lady down in Texas 3 days after the situation with her arrest. I'm sure most of you have seen on the dash cam and all those things. But as I reviewed it maybe 4 or 5 times, the cop pulled over, very sarcastic. I'm very sarcastic, so I picked up what he was doing right then and there. The sarcasm of the statement. And she was agitated. And so she answered in an agitated way. And as you know, we got a combustible situation. Just a back and forth like a tennis match. They were just going back and forth. And who's going to win that argument? The authority figure. It's like kids, we try to argue with your mom and dad. Who's going to win that argument? Mom and dad going to win every time. Because if they don't whoop you, when you get old enough, guess what they're going to say? Get out of my house. Who's in power, who's in control. So sometimes you got to know your position and fall into position. You know, humble yourselves, calm yourself down and listen. And sometimes being quiet and showing some humility just helps you out in the long run. So Brother Boyd, you just pick up Romans 13, verse 1 real quick.
Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers.
Yes.
For there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God.
Yes. Now, back in the early 2000s, a lot of people in this country were just asking themselves, why, under the Bush administration. You know, then Katrina happened 10 years ago. I think next month will be 10 years. And I think we had some people here that were directly affected by Hurricane Katrina.
Yes, sir.
And they were looking for help from their government. We are the United States of America, and we were calling U.S. citizens refugees. We watch them on our televisions in filth.
Yes.
And in the Louisiana Superdome, which is not the Mercedes-Benz Superdome,
Right.
they'll sell anything for $1. And these people, this is their home now. They're in their own filth, human waste.
Yes.
And these are American citizens that we just forgot about. And we're just about 500 miles away from them. I think most of us been to New Orleans to have some fun before.
Yes.
We wasn't heading down there then. We like, wish them luck. Good luck, y'all. And then they coming up here like, no, go back, go back. But now some of them still here. They are neighbors.
Yes.
And we have to love them.
Yes.
So, because they brought the Louisiana ways with them. Bless their heart. But we watching Americans just in despair. And our government was like, and people are like, how could this happen in America? How can this happen in the United States of America? And all this stuff happened for a reason. And I remember I got ready to pray one Sunday here, and I was praying for the people in New Orleans. And I said, this is a blessing in the long run because this has to happen for a reason.
Yes.
We had to go through these years with George Bush for a reason. Dare I say, we had to go through him to even entertain the thought of electing a man of color into the White House. And now we've had a man of color in the White House since 2009, which has opened a huge door for the Hillarys of the world, women, other, Latinos now like, hey, I'm gonna throw my name in the hat, see if I can become president one day. And sometimes you gotta go through some stuff and realize that's God's will to get to the other side.
All right.
Because how do you, I tell you, how do you build muscle? Resistance.
Yes.
You gotta go through some pain. You gotta push some stuff away and off you. You have to be tough.
Yes.
You gotta get your mind and your body on the same page and combat things to build your muscle up. So when you question like why this person's in charge, why this person's doing this at your job, in your home, and this and that, it's happening for a reason.
Amen.
Now, if you keep God ahead of your life, all the pieces will start to fall into place. And those things that they're doing to try to harm you will turn out to be blessings for you.
Amen.
Okay, Brother Boy, you pick back up on verse 2.
Whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
So be careful how you address authority, even when it's out of turn, out of place, and they're abusing their power. Two wrongs don't make it right. Because as we see with the situation in Texas, that young lady is no longer with us.
Lord have mercy.
And now we just got to hope justice comes from it. We got to hope the truth comes out. Because they can twist it and make it look anyway. When you're in power and control, you can play games and make things look a certain way. There's nobody walking down the hall for 90 minutes on that camera. At least that's what we're showing you. So you got to realize when you're fighting a losing battle. And a lot of us in here have just been trying to fight God. Can you imagine God Almighty about this big, you're this big, you're swinging at him. It's not even feeling the air. But you're fighting God who's trying to help you. He's just holding you back like, when you going to stop fighting? Let me help you.
Amen.
I got this. Even against those people that I appointed, they're human. I appointed them there. They can be removed easily. Not just a recall that we do in the government. They can be removed. They can be sick. Or they can be 6 feet under. I'm in control of all this. So let me operate. Trust in me. Okay, Brother Boy, you continue for his free.
For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. If
you just do what's right, do what's good, those evil powers, evil doers, all this stuff is just going to come a moot point after a while. It's not going to have any effect on you. As long as God is your true authority figure. Because if he's your true authority figure, you will take time to respect others and do what is right to help the greater cause. Because we look at situations from the gay marriage thing to just laws. I'm sure we don't agree with every law that's passed. So it's not for us to go out there to try to blow up buildings.
No, sir.
Because I don't like abortion, don't blow up abortion clinic.
No, sir.
It's not our call. If you're going to take away somebody's livelihood, how they make a living, and you have supposed to have that kind of authority and power, some people go out there into a movie theater and start shooting up the place. And that's why I don't go to movies on premiere night, because people like to make statements for their cause. And all you're doing is hurting your cause. So yeah, when you're that Bible thumping person that's just pounding the Bible over everybody's head, people roll their eyes when they see you coming. Because they catch you doing one thing, they got you. I saw you at the casino. I know you ain't talking. I saw you rolling out that club, man. I know you ain't talking. But yeah, they see you coming from a liquor store. You know, I'm a little sick trying to make a hot toddy.
Yeah, right.
You need 2 bags. So yeah, we're all gonna get looked at cast for. So
Fix it.
you bring that spotlight on you,
Fix
you're gonna get some unfair judgment. So trust me, slow your roll, do what's right. But you don't have to shout from the mountaintops that you're doing right. Everybody's gonna see it.
Everybody.
Okay, Brother Boy, continue, verse 4.
Verse 4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid.
Yes.
For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil.
Now, if the authority figures ain't doing what they're supposed to do, we have a right, especially the church, to call them out,
Yes.
to help police them, to help them get right, to better themselves.
Amen.
But just think who the ultimate judge and executioner is.
Yes, that's God.
And God has bestowed this position upon you, allowed you to be in this position, and you disrespect it, and you don't take care of it, and you don't perform properly, you abuse it. Like I know we got a situation in Millington, a reservist officer. I talked to some of the neighbors in the community. They say he would use that uniform to lure children close to him. And now he has, several accounts of him doing improper things to children.
Yes.
He abused that uniform, that badge, to do that.
Yes.
We have some parents that do that in their households. We have some preachers that do that. We've seen Memphis be showcased on YouTube a few times. Just type in a couple names, I ain't gonna mention their names, but the stuff pops up.
Amen.
They're abusing their power.
Amen.
We have political figures, athletes with money.
Yes.
God bless you with these things, and you turn it into abuse, and you don't properly use your power. So I just urge you to do what's right, because if you're doing what's wrong, we might not catch you, but you are being seen. At the end of the day, you are being watched.
Amen.
Brother Boyd, can you pick back up for me?
Yes, sir. Verse 5.
Yes, sir. Read verse 5.
Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake.
So at the end of the day, do you have peace of mind?
Yes.
There's some sick people out there that can do things to other people. Doesn't even bother me one bit up here. They can hurt others all day and just shrug their shoulder. Because it's all about them. They are their self. They hurt their own children.
Fix it.
They'll step on anybody to get what they want, to give to work. They only see is what I want, what I need,
Right.
and it's for me. This is where everybody's a pawn in my game, in my chess match. And I'm the king, the queen, everything on the back row. I'm the bishop in the night. It's all about me. It centers around them. And if you see a person like that, and the older you get to get these warning signs a lot quicker. But as younger people, that's why you need to stop and listen to the people. So if your mom and dad done right in your life, show them that respect, especially when they come to that. Sometimes mom and dad hadn't been part of your life. They're just coming in. Maybe mom and dad been out there, they know the world. They trying to give you a little heads up. Listen to them. Listen to people that have been down that road before you. Humble yourself, because you don't know everything.
Amen.
I'm 20-something, you don't know everything. I'm 30-something, you don't know everything. I'm 40-something, you don't know everything. I'm 50-something, I could keep going. So you don't know everything. Because all we lived is our lives. Other people been down some roads and done some things. I listen to my nephew, Juwan, 17 right now, because he has lived in some harsh conditions and some tough times. And he pulled Uncle Tom's out to the side and explained something to him. Uncle Tom's listening, because I don't ever want to go through some of the things he's gone through. He's my knucklehead 19-year-old nephew, Fidel. I'll listen to him.
Yes.
Because he's done some things. He had to be a leader of a household at a very young age. So I'll listen to him, pull from his knowledge. So open up your ears and listen.
Yes.
We're always quick to speak. We need to listen more. Okay, and Brother Boyd, drop down to verse 8, because we're going to start getting to the remedy of this whole situation.
Owe no man anything, but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
When it comes down to love,
Yes.
you do your part, love. That don't mean you're going to get love back in return. And we all been through some tough situations like that, as I concluded,
Yes.
where you are loving someone, and they do not give you love in return.
Fix it.
And you look at this person, but you be like, but you're my mom. You're supposed to love me.
Right.
You're my dad. You're supposed to love me.
Fix it.
You're my wife. You're supposed to love me.
Fix it.
You're my husband. You're supposed to love me.
Right.
You're my brother and sister in Christ. You're supposed to love me. You're my grandmother. You're supposed to love me. You're my granddad. You're supposed to love me. Supposed to. But we've all been in this situation.
Right.
You do your part. Two wrongs don't make a right.
No, sir.
At the end of the day, you make sure you do it out of love.
Right.
You don't do it to try to show them up,
Preach,
to kind of stick it to them.
Amen.
You do it out of love. Because they are your grandma, they are your granddad, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister.
Right.
You show love when they're not showing love. Because when it's all said and done, and they lay across,
Yes.
can you come in that day and know you did what you're supposed to do?
Amen.
By your love?
Amen.
Were you there obedient as a child? Were you obedient as a parent? Did you do what you were supposed to do? Did you love them from a place that God said you loved them from? Because he was head of you when you were handling those situations with that person.
Right.
So part of love is teaching from this book right here, the Bible. And like we said, the Old Testament is for our learning. So I conclude in the Old Testament around Proverbs 15. So you ever love somebody and they're young, you drop some Proverbs on them. And if not, tell them to read Proverbs. Because that's where I go to for a lot of just fundamental things in life. And I go back to the situation in Texas with Miss Bland. And just that kind of sticks with you. And you think about Brother Fred and what he's going through. Those things kind of stick with you, tug on your heart. So I know we're going to be praying for our brother. He's going through this tough time. I know 96, she lived a long, wonderful life. But that's still his mom. We know how much Brother Fred loved his mom. And seeing what my mom went through earlier this year, losing her mom. My grandma wasn't Mom of the Year candidate material, but at the end of the day, it was still her mom. And we still got some great memories of her and everything. And I think my mom learned how to be a mom by some of the things my grandma didn't do. And I thank you for that, Mom. That's the reason why you have an army of young men on Saturday night that will follow you up and down the store, being pointed and told what to do, left and right, because we owe you from here.
It's all right. Amen.
So when you like that to your children,
Yes.
show them kind of that love and devotion. You come in from the long hours at work, wrapping up fingers to bleeding.
Yes. Lord have mercy.
You've been scratching the face by an animal,
Yes. Fix it.
your leg hurt, back hurt
Yes.
from a car accident, and you tough through it.
Yes, Lord.
Lord
Yes,
have
Lord.
mercy.
So I can go to Nashville, St. Louis on an 8th grade trip.
Yes. Lord have mercy.
That stuff is not forgotten.
Yes.
It's not forgotten.
That's right.
That's why you can call and ask for anything.
Amen.
So when you have that kind of devotion to your child, it comes from love.
Yes.
And the law of the Lord is being fulfilled out of love, it's going to come back in return. Just remember that, it's going to come back. They see what you're doing, they feel what you're doing more than anything. It's going to come back. And I've seen some children in here, but Lord, today, moms, and even their dads, out of love.
Right.
We celebrated Gus last week. Gus is receiving love. And Gus is going to get that love back. I see little Gerald back there. I know it's the same thing. You can just see it. You don't have to be spoken upon. You just see it. Because we know each other since we were little. And that love is not going to go anywhere. It will be fulfilled at the end of the day. I conclude in Proverbs 15. A soft answer turns away wrath.
Yes, Lord.
But a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise uses knowledge rightly, but the mouth of fools pour forth foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place. I alluded to that earlier. Keeping watch on the evil and the good.
Yes, Lord.
A wholesome tongue is a tree of life. I know how important trees are to some people.
Yes.
You ever just stop and look at a tree and just think about what a tree provides and what it does? Do it this time of year when it's really high.
Yes.
It can knock it down by 10 degrees, but just take a moment and just, I know they said, hug a tree, and just realize the beautiful nature of a tree and how it symbolizes life. The tree gives a lot, so we get shade, even food from, and sometimes switches to get whoopings. So, perseverance, and it breaks the spirit. A fool despises his father's instruction, that he who receives correction is prudent. In the house of the righteous there is much treasure, but in the revenue of the wicked is trouble.
Fine.
The lips of the wise disperse expand knowledge, but the heart of the fool does not do so. So then, all I just want to conclude is that don't be a fool.
Amen.
Amen.
Because look, a fool, you're going to look like a fool when you don't have your head.
Right.
You're going to be stumbling, bumbling, knocking over stuff, have no direction, no guidance whatsoever. Because there's only one head. And once you unscrew that head and take that off, you're lost. You're in trouble. No cane can help you. The most name brand shoes, in-style shoes can't help you. Your gear can't help you. Working out in the gym can't help you. Nothing's going to help you once you don't see where you're going. So keep Christ and keep God ahead in your life. So you can always have direction and have a chance to see how to get out of your despair. Thank you. Y'all been a tremendous audience.
Amen.